one among the best connected ministers in the association. He called his friends who called their friends, and over the same thing was said. I'm going, will you go with me? The Reverend Rob Eller-Isaacs and the Reverend Dr. Hope Johnson pick up what followed 50 years later.
This time, no telegram came. 50 years after that moment of vivid solidarity, with the echo of the freedom songs still ringing in our ears, with the clarity of purpose etched deep inside our hearts, we knew we had to go again. We went to Selma to honor those who went before and to enlist their spirit, their strength, and their story in helping us rise to the challenges we face today. That march in 1965 was a pivotal moment for Unitarian Universalism and for the nation. For 50 years, in fits and starts, we've been on this journey toward wholeness. We've come together in small, high, holy circles to look into our own divided hearts and try to move beyond white privilege. We've made and lost 1,000 friends. We've moved from integration to empowerment, from solidarity to separatism and back. And now, broken-hearted as we are waking up again, taking up again the obligations of compassion. You helped make the conference happen, Hope. How did this start for you?
The idea of commemorating the 50th anniversary of the Voting Rights Act in Selma, Alabama, came at the tail end of a successful pilgrimage led by the Living Legacy Project. We spoke about the then upcoming commemoration of the crossing of the Edmund Pettus Bridge, and we expressed an interest in attending. We dreamed of showing up to support the people of Selma. And we ended up creating a Selma planning team that created Marching in the Arc of Justice, headed for Birmingham, Montgomery, and Selma. Now, for me, the visit to the city of St. Jude is where I felt the presence of the ancestors. That was the only place on the route, Montgomery, Alabama, that welcomed and housed those who marched for the right to vote after crossing the Edmund Pettus Bridge from Selma, Alabama. Everyone was there, including the Unitarian Universalists. Reverend Tom Owen Tall, veteran of the movement, described his work on the crew that prepared to receive the guests when they arrived. So we broke bread together, we shared stories, and when we joined hearts and hands singing "We Shall Overcome," I knew that we were all on sacred ground. I wonder, Rob, do you think the pilgrimage to Selma will strengthen Unitarian Universalism?
In Birmingham and Selma, we seized the opportunity to clarify our sense of who we mean when we say we. The years of soul work, deep self-reflection, combined with lasting partnerships with communities of color, inconclusive as they are, have earned us a place at the table. When word got out that we were going back to Selma, people who are not Unitarian Universalists but trust us because of the ways we've tried to live into our commitments chose to go there with us. In very real ways, Unitarian Universalism convened a sense of we far larger than ourselves. At the church I love and serve, in St. Paul, Minnesota, we knew we wanted to go. I invited an experienced activist in the congregation to join the effort. Sitting in my office, he not only said, "Why not?" he also asked, "Why only members of Unity Church?" In the following weeks, we were humbled and amazed as our church became the designated convener of the Selma anniversary delegation from the city of St. Paul. The city trusted us, and by association, they trusted Unitarian Universalism to provide an experience that would help to reinvigorate a broadly based creative commitment to racial equity and justice in our community. The St. Paul delegation included 25 church members and many others, 2 police chiefs and a number of other officers, 6 men recently released from prison with their mentors, foundation presidents and corporate executives, 3 generations of NAACP elders, and 5 core leaders from Twin Cities. Black Lives Matter. The Reverend Danny Givens Jr. and 4 congregants from Above Every Name Church, a Christian Universalist church nested close to the heart of our congregation. 68 of us in all. We arrived with diverse and differing expectations. There were moments of triumph and transformation interspersed with times of disappointment and misunderstanding. It wasn't easy, but it was real. The connections that were made there are already bearing fruit. I tell you this not out of pride, but as a call to like commitment, a call to comparable boldness, a call to continue to help to convene the creative, covenantal conversations which are the source and the practice of our faith. What are your most powerful memories of that time of reconsecration, Hope?
3 martyrs of the movement: Jimmy Lee Jackson, Viola Liuzzo, and the Reverend James Reeb were honored. Tears of pride came to my eyes as each family member came up to receive an honor for the unwanted sacrifices that their loved ones had made. They greeted us, they greeted each other. It was a moment. I was reminded once again that though flawed, Unitarian Universalism has an ongoing commitment to racial justice, to voting rights. Who knew that the UUA sent a check to Jimmy Lee Jackson's mother each year? A quiet gesture without fanfare. Selma, Alabama is the only place I've ever visited where, when asked, "Well, what group are you with?" and I answer, "The Unitarian Universalists," the response is often, thanks for coming back." It happened again to me while I was at that mass meeting at Tabernacle Baptist Church. So we stumble, we falter, we often fail, and we hurt ourselves, and we hurt each other as we seek to dismantle racism. And yet, we pick ourselves up and continue as we promised we would. We embrace the new Black Lives Matter movement by answering that urgent call to racial justice. Selma strengthens our resolve to move forward when we answered Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King's call to come on down to Selma. It was the right thing to do.
Moderator Key closed his call to Selma with these words from the great James Baldwin.
If we, and by we I mean the relatively conscious ones who must, like lovers, change the consciousness of others.
Do not